The 1970s in American Speedway was amazing, with the Fox night and those girls popping their tops down, the boys looking. It was a lot of fun. I was one of those rugrats too at the Costa Mesa Speedway. It was amazing. And here was the 75 van of Costa Mesa. And who could forget Jerry King, the starter? He was an amazing guy. He was always good to me when I was racing. He'd always give me encouragement. He was just a lovely guy. Rest in peace, Jerry King. Just an amazing person. And when I had my comeback, who was good to me? Jerry King. He was a good guy. I'll never forget this man. And who could forget the OCIR, Orange County International Raceway? Who could forget the ESO Speedway bikes? Then Jawa bought out ESO, became a very famous bike. And then, rest in peace, the JAP, John Alfred Presswich. He went down. His company, he passed away. His company died. The Speedway bikes went obsolete. Rest in peace, SRA, Speedway Racing Association. It was an amazing association with Jerry Fairchild as the president. The SRA was for the riders. They went ahead and made the riders a lot of money. The SRA was definitely something great, and then it ended up dying. Harry Oxley ended up cutting the SRA, and Speedway had a sudden change, and it did go downhill from there. Who could forget Gene, the dancing machine? This guy was amazing. He was with Danny Becker in the pits. He was just amazing. Gene was everywhere drinking that beer. Everyone clapping for Gene. He was a celebrity, just littering the Speedway track. He was interviewed by Bruce Flanders. Everybody loved hearing Gene talk. He was an amazing guy. The crowd just loved Gene, with Larry Huffman interviewing him. He was just amazing. Gene today is an avid supporter, and we love who? Gene, the dancing machine. Hollywood celebrities came to the Speedway, like Steve McQueen, the star of On Any Sunday. He rode motorcycles. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He rode with Brigo. He rode a Speedway bike. I think Speedway was a little crazy for Steve. And they had the cowboy. That's John Wayne, the Duke. He sat in turn 3 at Costa Mesa. He loved Speedway. He lived in Balboa. And who could forget the Carlisle 19-inch tires? They were amazing. My favorite tires of the 70s. Carlisle! And the Speedway mechanics, the genius minds. And that was Ed Schaefer. Ed was a sponsor of Little Gene Woods, and he was a sponsor of his brother, the Rocket Rick Woods. He was just an amazing engine builder. One time when I was a young 16-year-old fresh Speedway rider, I went up to Ed Schaefer's shop off the 55 freeway. I knocked on his door. Ed peeked through the door and said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm a young Speedway rider, and I'd like to come and see your shop." And he goes, "I don't allow people to come in my shop." And I said, "Come on, Ed, please." And he said, "Oh, all right." And Ed let me walk in his shop. It was a big shop in Costa Mesa, Santa Ana, right off the freeway at MacArthur. And it was beautiful. Ed had Rick Woods' Speedway bikes all torn apart, and he had gloves on, and he was like a doctor, and it was perfect. Everything was beautiful. Ed Schaefer was just a perfectionist. And next genius mind, we have Jerry Fairchild. Jerry was an amazing tuner, amazing mechanic, and amazing mind. After one of my crummy Division III races, when I first started as a 16-year-old, I'd been on a Speedway bike 2 weeks, and I just was minding my own business, and this old man came up to me. His name is Jerry Fairchild, and he kind of has these false teeth and stuff, and he said, "Oh, I like your writing, and you write a Jap. He says, I'd like to help you. You need help? And I didn't know who he was. He was just an old man. I was just a young kid. And I said, sure, I could use any help, because nobody was paying attention to me. Nobody was helping me. So Jerry took my bike to the shop, and he just tore the engine apart and started fixing it up, making it fast. Jerry Fairchild, he had tuned for all the great riders. I had no idea this. He was just an old man, and I trusted him, and I trusted the right guy. One night, Jerry Fairchild, he took me in his truck on Saturday night. I left the Otay Mesa, went to Bakersfield, and I went with his wife, Ida, and we drove that maroon pickup truck all the way to Bakersfield. I slept in the back. There's a bed up there in the cabin, and I was sleeping. It took forever to get to Bakersfield. And I used to always say, where the hell is Bakersfield? It's long ways from LA. And we got to the track. It was a beautiful track. Digger Helm had this hard, slick track. And they put me in Division I. Jerry Fairchild told Digger, put me in Division I. And I was at the 10-yard line or something. And I just love that track. We had the Carlisle tires. And I just went ahead and won like all 3 races. And I just tore that track up. And I dominated the handicap division. One day I was at Jerry's shop in Pasadena. I was prepping my bike. I go there all the time to prep my bike, ask him questions, and Jerry was really cordial to me. And I saw this row of old JAPs, and I said, what is all this trash over here, Jerry? And he goes, it's not trash. This is what we rode in the Whiteman Stadium. There's about 10 of these bikes. They were old. They're probably worth a fortune today. I thought they were junk. And then I saw the laydown JAP. I go, what the hell is this, Jerry? And he goes, well, Brian, that's the JAP laydown that I made for Ernie Rocio back in 1952. And I go, oh, this doesn't look very good. And he goes, Brian, laydowns are going to be the wave of the future. You're going to see one day that the laydowns are going to be what they're going to be riding in Speedway. And today, what are they riding? They're riding laydowns. He was right. This was like 20 years before. Here is one of the first laydowns in America, made for Ernie Rocio in 1952. Jerry Fairchild had an amazing mind. Here's Jerry and Ernie Rocio. They're talking about the mechanical part of the motorcycle. Jerry was tuning for Ernie, and he tuned for the Milne brothers a little bit, and for all the top riders in the early days. Sad to say, Ernie had a horrible spill in British League, and he lost his life in 1952. It was a tragedy because Ernie was a top rider. He was going to possibly win a world championship. Everyone was sad. Jerry Fairchild was a genius. He built the first laydown Jawa that I've heard of. He also built car engines and cars. The Fairchild Special in '54. He sponsored the top speedway riders like Dangerous Dub Farrell. For many years, Jerry sponsored Dub, and Dub became #2 in the United States in '75. Sad to say, Jerry passed away in 1989. Rest in peace, Jerry Fairchild. The last genius mechanic we talk about is George Wynn. He was the tuner of the late, great Ivan Majors, and George Wynn has passed away also. Rest in peace. But him and his wife, Frida, they went ahead and they ruled the back gates of Costa Mesa. They were dominating. They ran and they did everything. And George Wynn was just an amazing guy. He was a great mechanic. Everybody who knew George Wynn loved him. He made his own Jawa plates and stuff. And George Wynn was just a good guy from England. Rest in peace, George Wynn.